Mile-high memories. Remember walking out of the building that night in '94 after that Montana Elway duel thinking one thing. This is why America loves football as much as it does. Who knows, in 50 years, somebody will do a piece on Monday Night Football about the great memories in Invesco. They begin tonight. Reese with a touchdown pass there. Bronx up by 7. Here in his 9th season as a coach. Coach of the Los Angeles Raiders in '88, part of '89, and then came here in '95.
You know, it's interesting they showed that aerial shot of Invesco, Alan. In the upper deck, you could see that Bronco head. You're probably wondering, hey, that's on the seats. How can I still see the head? They passed out color-coded T-shirts to the patrons sitting in those seats tonight, so you could see it from the blimp. Nice idea by the promotion department here.
Great look. I think they did just about everything right when they built this place. Elam's kick is taken 3 yards in the end zone, and Ron Dixon is told to take a knee. Then is talking about the horse head, and there it is. There are the folks with the cards.
Yeah, it's like an old college card section,
Right.
isn't it?
Actually, those are
free T-shirts. Yeah.
And that's what it looks like, of course, when the building is empty.
Ironically, that one orange seat right there in the eye, the season ticket holder who sits there is the kid who dotted the I at Ohio State. The band. What are the odds on that? I'm asking, what are the odds?
14,247 to 1.
Exactly.
I won it as part of a quinella. From the 20-yard line. Broncos almost jumped, but no flag. And here is Tiki Barber. And let's take a look, Dan, at the numbers through the first 30 minutes of this fray.
Well, the Broncos have controlled the ball 20 minutes to just 9 for New York. And that's why they have the edge in every statistical category. And if you look at the Giants, as far as what they're doing individually, Tiki Barber has no reception. The Giants have got to find a way to get the ball to Barber more. They've got to throw him the ball coming out of the backfield.
2nd and 10. There has not been a sack in the game. There has not been a turnover in the game. Barber slips on the turf. Tiki angry with himself. Unable to get out of the backfield. It'll be 3rd down, 11.
He had no place to go because big Leon Lett just stood Glenn Parker straight up. Leon, who's used to playing against the Giants, there he is, weighs 290, 94 and 62 right here. Tiki sees his stalemate, tries to cut away, and Leon jumps on his back.
What are the odds on Big Cat Leon Lett and Chester McLaughlin clogging up the middle for the Denver Broncos? Maybe that's one thing Shanahan brought back from the Raiders. He thinks anybody can be resurrected.
Loves the veterans. 3rd down and 11. Collins a ton of time and then throws, and it's caught. Juravicius has to go sliding to the turf and makes the catch at the 36 for a 1st down.
Boy, a ton of time is right, Al. I mean, he had 3 to 4 seconds there and separation from the pass rush. When you have that separation, you can really step up and fire it, and that's what he has to do here to squeeze it in to Juravicius.
Well, he had to throw the heater there because John Mobley was watching that ball all the way in.
Parker doing a good job with Lomas Brown on Terry Johnson there. Gave Collins time.
From the 36, they give it to Dane. He tries to knife his way out of the backfield and can't. Al Wilson finishes him off at the end.
Well, they got a great legacy of linebackers here in Denver, Dan. We saw a couple of them before the game. Gradishar, Mecklenburg, Tommy Jackson. Who do you see out of this new crew that might step up and becoming a 10-year guy here?
Well, you know, you got to start with Romanowski. He's had a great career with the Broncos. And Al Wilson's a #1 pick just a couple of years back. And John Mobley is healthy, so they have the same type of players, smart and mobile, playing linebacker for them.
So Romanowski lining up on the right side defensively in his 14th season, 2nd down and 10. Collins slings it, caught by Barber, gets free down the sideline, and Brown finally stops him at the 21-yard line.
Well, if you had any doubts about Kerry Collins, they might have been erased there because he dropped that right over coverage down a well.
Only 28 sacks given up by this Giant offensive line last year, and they're doing a great job tonight. A little bit of a hole there by Ron Stone, but look at how he drops this ball in behind the linebacker Mobley, and finally they get Barber going with the passing game. Huge game for the Giants.
Dan mentioned he hadn't thrown a ball. His first of the night is worth 44 yards. This drive started at the Giant 20. They're now at the Bronco 20. Collins the fake again. They set up the screen. Caught by Greg Camella. And Camella, with some hard running, takes it to the 12-yard line. Eric Brown forces him out.
You know, Glenn Parker's had his hands full tonight with Chester McLaughlin and Trevor Price and Leon Lett. He's the lead blocker out on this play, and then he has Greg Camella come up and shove him in the back to get him to go on downfield and throw a block for him. The hustling Glenn Parker is 35 years old. Watch Camella with the right hand. Actually, it's Dusty Ziegler out in front to center. He gets the shove, and Camella gets the yard.
Second and a long one. Just inside the 12-yard line. Collins sidearms it to Camella. Good tackle, and is it a fumble? Is it a fumble? No. They whistle the play dead. Al Wilson was there making the tackle. Play is dead. Not reviewable, not challengeable.
Now they're saying it's incomplete, Al. One of the officials came in and said he never had control.
Even further non-reviewable, non-challengeable. Ooh, that's dubious whether he made the catch or not, but now that you look at it from that angle, I think they got it right. Did he ever have possession?
Nope.
Hey, that's a tough call if you've been a ref in this league for 20 years.
Right.
They did a good job of talking about it, too. One official said it was down. Another guy came in and overruled him.
Third down, still a long one.
Now Shanahan's going to challenge it. So here we go.
Well, you know, it's funny because if you challenge it and you win the challenge, I'm trying to think of the upside here. There can't be an upside to a challenge because the whistle had blown, so even if it's a completed pass, it's still going to be third down and a long one.
Denver is challenging the ruling on the play.
Which is what?
Well, yeah, well, the only thing that Mike could possibly be challenging here is whether it was a completion or an incompletion. If it was a completion, let's say, the whistle had blown, so the play would be dead at that point. So Denver would still not get the football.
That is the call by the official on the field, that he was down by contact. So the whistle blows there, and you're right, Al.
Well, Mike is thinking catch and fumble. The problem is, if it is a catch, if they overrule the call on the field and call it a catch, it's a completion for no gain, which is the same thing as an incompletion in this particular circumstance. And they're still not going to get the ball because the whistle blew at this point. Right there, the whistle's blowing. End of play.
I'm just happy to see a replay.
And the other, you know, it's funny. I mean, Mike thinks outside the box a lot. Does he want to give his defense a little rest here? I don't know that you waste a challenge on that, but it's possible.
I think this is where we are hurt by having the replacement referees, because the communication between what they said on the field, whether it was down or not, whether it was a dead play, a fumble, incomplete, they didn't quite give us enough word as to why Shanahan was challenging, and perhaps didn't tell Mike enough about what the call was on the field.
Yes.
Hey, all
So
I
it's a
know is
communication problem right now.
he's out from under the 10 under 2 minutes. So good for
After
him.
review, the ruling on the pass stands as incomplete. Denver is charged with a timeout.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other downside. There was really almost, well, there was no upside. The play would have been over at the same spot. The down and distance would be the same on the ensuing play. And what it does is it costs them a timeout.
Well, Al, you got the analytic mind. Did you see any upside there, or no? You're just querulous about one.
Outside of maybe Mike wanting to buy a little rest time for his defense, I don't know.
And the other thing was, one official said it was a catch. The other official came in, overruled it, said incomplete.
Right. So it's third down and still that long yard from the 12-yard line. Toomer in motion. Split back set. Collins on a roll. To Toomer, who makes the catch, dives for the end zone. Touchdown. Amani Toomer was the man in motion. Made the catch along the sideline. Kennedy in the area, and then Toomer scores his second touchdown of the night.
Kerry Collins showing the entire repertoire on that drive. The touch, the gun.
Going on the run as he does on this play. Toomer, top of the screen. Throws a bullet, beats Eric Davis. Touchdown, got inside the pylon. Talked about how quick Rod Smith is. Watch the quickness by Toomer to stay in bounds, or did he? Looks like that right foot might have gone out of bounds.
Shanahan risk another challenge here. But that orange shoe really shows up against that white sideline.
Well, this penalty flag may work in Shanahan's favor.
False start on number 65. Third penalty. Repeat.
They might want to take a look at this one because it looked like his right foot might have just brushed the out-of-bounds line right there. He's out of bounds.
Yeah, but
Shanahan's got to throw the red flag now. Somebody upstairs has got to tell him that's not a touchdown.
yeah, but it's so close, Dan. If they don't overturn it, you lose 2 times out in a close game. I mean, I think he's probably going to be reluctant.
The first angle was fairly conclusive. Now, because of that penalty, Dan, you're exactly right. The referee reaching for the buzzer. That means that Shanahan will challenge this again. The downside, of course, to that first challenge, in addition to losing the timeout, is that you only get 2. So Mike will then be out of challenges until there are 2 minutes left in the game. And right now there are 10 minutes and 36 seconds left in the third quarter.
Well, if there isn't...
Denver is challenging the touchdown.
Well, if there isn't ample evidence visually to overturn this call on the field, you're going to have a Donnybrook here. And it looks close.
It all depends on which size or width of shoe that Amani Toomer has. Watch his right foot. He's inbounds there, right there.
I don't know. Don't you see a little green
I see a shadow there.
glow there?
This angle here tells me he's out of bounds, though.
Next step.
That one right there.
Yeah.
No green there. What you saw before was not green. It was a shadow. And the shadow knows he was out of bounds.
Any part is on any part of the white, he's out.
I'm going to challenge whether he got the ball in the end zone, too. We do 2 challenges here.
You know, his right hand appeared to be out of bounds before the ball got in.
If they rule him out there, they're going to spot the ball at the 2. You can see when his foot was out, they were going to put it at the 2. Again, you need conclusive evidence to overturn the play on the field.
Like the replacement refs don't have enough on their plate. They got to get this curve thrown at
Right.
him.
This poor guy, Bill Lathan, he's reffing the Montana-Hawaii game on Maui the other night, and now he's on Monday Night Football. With God willing, about 50 million viewers. Be a nice rating.
I remember the good old days when Montana played Hawaii on Molokini. Not like it used to be.
Well, let's watch that right hand, too. Does it go out of bounds before the ball breaks the plane?
Yeah, it does.
There's your shadow there.
Oh,
Boy, that is really close there, too.
Wow.
Great effort by Amani Toomer. No question about that. I think the ball did break the plane before the hand hit the ground, but I think he was also out of bounds long before that.
Boy, they better parachute Eddie Hockley into the stadium for this one.
I know a few owners that would like to parachute him in without the parachute.
That play was, by the way, a 3rd and 1.
After review, the ruling on the play stands. Touchdown, Giants. Timeout, Denver. No second charge, timeout.
So the Broncos lose both of their challenges. They're now down to 1 timeout in the game.
In a tie game.
In a tie game.
About to be a tie game, you bet.
That still has 25 minutes and 36 seconds in regulation.
All right.
I'll bet you Shanahan goes a good 4 or 5 games before he challenges again. I think he's probably just off the system right now.
That was a good challenge.
Meanwhile, the penalty now means the extra point will be spotted at the 15 from Morton Anderson, and that's good.
Watch it up.
So 10:36 remaining in the third quarter. Toomer has scored twice, and the Giants have caught the Broncos again. 36 left in the third. Potchman to kick off. It's a line drive. It is caught up at the 16-yard line by Olandis Gary. Olandis Gary, the 1,000-yard rusher of 2 years back, at least for tonight on special teams. At least he got the ball. Denver has it in a tie game. At their own 34-yard line, 10:29 left in the third. And Brian Greasy with a short drop, throws over the middle, pulled in by Ed McCaffrey for a short gain. How have the Bronco big guys done tonight? Let's have a look.
Well, it's surprising at how few yards that Terrell Davis has gained. He's looked good, though, but he has not caught a pass, similar to Tiki Barber. And Rod Smith, he has 24 yards rushing, so a 99-yard first half for Rod Smith. Greasy, he's been solid.
Davis seems to be having a better night, but he's had 3 runs for losses, 2 for no gain. His long tonight, his long carry, 9 yards. Wayne Carswell was moving.
Well, they've seen enough of him that Shanahan has.
Prior to the snap, full start. Offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. Second down.
Has deviated a little from his pre-game pronouncement that we were going to see more Mike Anderson than we have. So obviously he's liking what he sees of Terrell.
But he also knows that Terrell is not in game shape yet. He says it'll take him 2 or 3 games. He wants Terrell to be honest with him. If he gets winded, take himself out. We'll put Mike Anderson in. We won't lose much.
2nd and 9 from the 35-yard line. Greasy, one-handed grab made by McCaffrey, but he pays the price. First down at the 45, but he's down. Hit by Sean Williams, and McCaffrey in the last week or so has spent some time in the hospital with excruciating headaches.
Well,
Sean Williams goes out with a sprained ankle as well. McCaffrey, how many shots does he seem to take like this? But great concentration. What a pro. One-handed catch in no man's land, and then a knockout shot by Sean Williams.
well, nobody over the last decade has taken more big shots in the open field than McCaffrey, because he does stretch out for balls like this across the middle. And I also think there's a back-channel communication among defensive backs that he sometimes fakes the pass interference, so when they get a chance to clean his clock, they do.
You know, he grabs for his knee here.
He sure does.
You
Right
think it's
there.
his head at first, but he's grabbing for his left knee.
And that's bad news.
And that's what they are working on right now.
That was a clean shot by Williams. Did not lead with his helmet to McCaffrey.
And it looks like he's going to be number 2 now.
Such a bittersweet night for Ed McCaffrey, who just about an hour ago caught the 44th touchdown pass of his Bronco career, tying him with 3 other Broncos, with Lionel Taylor and Haven Moses and Shannon Sharp for the all-time Denver record.
You saw the Giants talking to him as he's being wheeled off the field. Of course, he knows a lot of the Giants personally, having spent the beginning of his career in New York.
So McCaffrey is out. Tennyson comes in. Sean Williams is out, and Omar Stoutmeyer comes in for the Giants. And Shanahan right now losing one of his primary receivers. His team in a dogfight on opening night. And Davis swings to the outside and breaks one for a first down before he is rolled out of bounds at the 28-yard line by Will Peterson.
You know, he's been trying to get yards up inside. He went inside and then bounced to the outside. Rod Smith with a great steal block got Davis down the sideline. There's that high knee action. He sees the defender coming, lowers that shoulder. William Peterson with a solid tackle.
Well, you watch a warrior like McCaffrey carted off. You've got a motivated offensive team here right now. They're going to run it down the throat.
18-yard gain for Davis, longest of the night for Terrell. Back he comes, this time over right guard, just inside the 25-yard line.
Yeah, I just want to go back to that play. Clean play, nothing dirty, nothing malicious, just the way the game is. Contact sport. Ed McCaffrey knows that better than anybody, taking many, many hits. Fortunately, that was a bad one.
Well, in essence, you just witnessed the metamorphosis in the Broncos season here, because they just pretty much, they're going to need those 3 backs now, because I think they're going to be running the ball exponentially more than they had planned.
And as you mentioned, they're going to really need Eddie Kennison to step it up. On 2nd down and 7, the fake to Davis. Greasy throws to the end zone. This is Smith, and he makes the catch for the touchdown. An amazing catch.
An amazing night by Rod Smith.
And a night to forget forever for Dave Thomas, who gets beaten again.
Thomas couldn't have been in better position. never made a play on the ball till it was too late. He was all over Smith. Greasy had no business trying to get this ball in there. That's perfect coverage. But when Smith's hands go up, Thomas's hands go up too late. Defensive backs are told when the receiver reaches, you reach.
Possession, both feet in. Extra point is good. And the Broncos respond after they cart McCaffrey off with a big Davis run and a great Smith catch. And Denver's on top by 7 again. But tonight, breaking the official NFL seal, and the Broncos lead 21-14. Elam to kick off. Into the mile-high night. It's fielded a yard deep in the end zone by Ron Dixon. And they pin Dixon inside the 20 at the 16-yard line. Injury update right now. Here's Melissa.
Al, Dan had it right. Ed McCaffrey has a fractured left leg. That's the official word from the team. Stunned silence on the Broncos sideline. Quickly turned to players saying, we need to rally, we need to step up in his absence. And as for the Giants sideline, Sean Williams, he took a knee to the thigh. He will come back.
Well, it'll show you, it vividly points out the ephemeral nature of how your team's doing in this league. 1 second, you've got everybody working on all cylinders. Next second, McCaffrey's out for the season.
And then the team responds by getting it into the end zone. In the wake of that, here's Collins, and he's going to take off and pick up 2 yards. Stopped by Romanowski and McLaughlin.
Well, it really does cast a pall, too, because Eddie McCaffrey's certainly one of the good guys on this team.
Real good guy. And, of course, when you lose a guy, all you have to do is look at the numbers, 101 catches. They still have Rod Smith, and he has been stepping it up for years, but Eddie Keniston now becomes the man very much in the Denver spotlight. 2nd down and 8 from the 18-yard line. Here's Tiki Barber. Flag is thrown. Barber gets wrestled down to the 28-yard line.
He's got his money's worth on that stiff arm.
Bad time for a holding penalty. Backed up already. They'll go back half the distance after this call.
Illegal formation on the offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
We talked about fewer penalties being called. It's been a pretty good story around the league for a while now. Now, on the first Sunday of the regular season, as you can see, from 96 through 2000, look at the right-hand column, between 12 and 14 penalties were called, and yesterday 9.9. And as we said, only 11 offensive holding calls from scrimmage were assessed in the 14 games yesterday.
And the quarterbacks were happy dudes, weren't they?
Yes. 2nd down and 13. Collins throws off his back foot into double coverage, and it's incomplete. Coomer was out there, but he was covered by Brown and Denard Walker.
You know, ironically, though, many of those happy quarterbacks didn't put touchdowns up on the board yesterday, as I believe we had 8 teams not score a touchdown yesterday.
A lot of low-scoring games. Seattle, Cleveland, no touchdowns in that one, 9-6.
Well, I'll tell you what, you talk about an eye for quarterbacks. Holmgren, he has it. Yesterday, Hasselback, the kid down in New Orleans, Favre, Kurt Warner. You got 4 quarterbacks who won yesterday. They all went through the Green Bay system.
3rd down and 13. Collins gets sacked. First sack of the night, Bill Romanowski.
Romo almost got to him on the play just prior to that sack. Forced Collins to throw the ball away deep down the field. This time he came in free again from his strong side linebacking position. Here he comes, 53. Good clean shot by Romo. Remember the shot he put on Collins when Collins was a rookie.
Rodney Williams now to kick. Delta O'Neal to run it back. Does he bang this one? Whoa! I think that's 70 yards on the fly.
Well,
That's the line of scrimmage was the 10-yard line. It goes to the end zone. It's 90 gross, 70 net. Mile high, I'll say. 21-14 Denver. In the air, it's Greasy throws. That is caught by Davis. The longest kick in NFL history, also at Mile High Stadium. The old one was 98. Here's where it landed. It left his foot at the 2, and then it lands at about the 19.
Al, I bemoan the fact that the coffin corner kick is a lost art, though.
He was kicking from the other coffin corner. And you know the other thing about Williams? He runs 4.6. So we'll see. Giant fans will see this guy running from punt formation this year. Great athlete.
Longest kick in NFL history, 98 yards. Steve O'Neill of the Jets against Denver in 69. That meant it went from the 1 to the other 1. 98 yards. And here's Davis going from the 23 to the 28 where he's tackled by Gaints. Third down and 2. 33 million people said goodbye, and now he's back. Michael J. Fox returns on the 1-hour season premiere of Spin City, Tuesday, September 18th, a week from tomorrow, right here on ABC. Third and a deuce from the 28. Davis, the sole setback. Broncos jump. I think it was Kennison down at the bottom of the screen who jumped offside.
Sure was.
Well, Shanahan's team.
Prior to the snap, full start. Offense, 85. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
It was Kennison. Shanahan's team is nothing if not resilient. McCaffrey gets carted off. They score a touchdown. The defense does a magnificent job on the next Giants series. And the Broncos, of course, are now only pinned back because of that phenomenal kick by Rodney Williams. 3rd and 7 from the 23. Great coverage. It is going to be ruled incomplete. Incomplete. Rod Smith never had it. Will Allen covering.
And that's that rookie that Dennis was looking for earlier, Al. Will Allen, number 25, played this perfectly. Broncos were in a bunch formation, trying to get a little pick action going there. But Allen just in his zone. He's got Rod Smith, and that's the go-to guy now for Denver. It's a nice play by the rookie.
Now, somebody in that draft room loved Allen. It's the first time in Giant history they traded up in the first round to take somebody.
Now Tom ruins the punt. And he says to Rodney Williams, try this on for size. Dropped at the 14, picked back up by Barber. And Tiki will be forced out of bounds up at the 27-yard line. That's a 64-yard punt by the Denver veteran.
A trifle.
Next week, on to Baltimore. Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Dante Culpepper and company against the Ravens. If they get me, they're going to have to get a moving target. Oh! Brian Billick will be mic'd up as Minnesota takes on Baltimore.
Hey, what's news about that? Why don't we have a 2-minute period where Brian Billick isn't mic'd up for a change?
From the 28-yard line, Collins gives the ball to Dane. And Ron Dane fighting his way close to a first down.
In here, Dan.
Up to the 39-yard line, and that will move the chains with 3.5 to go in a very good game on opening night. It's one of those bizarre nights. A lot of celebratory feelings, of course. New stadium, Broncos breaking the seal on their season. But then you've got the pull of knowing one of your key guys is probably out for the season.
Yeah, if not longer than that. A broken leg is tough for anybody to come back. But a receiver, doubly hard.
From the 40, here is Tiki Barber.
You know, the other thing is it's kind of like the way football is, though. You have tremendous highs and tremendous lows. and you just try to hope that the lows are not as catastrophic as that injury to Ed McCaffrey.
Well, thank God, you know, there's nothing compromising about the hit because, like you said, that's the nature of the beast, Dan.
And he had to reach for it. He was in a vulnerable position.
Fully extended, doing what Ed McCaffrey does, and you're right. I think Ed's probably got his head around it. It hurts, but he's got his head around it to some extent.
Looking through the specs. Owner of the Broncos. Shepherd of the building of the stadium. Second down and 10 from the 40. And that's caught on the run by Toomer. And he gets hog-tied by Kennedy up at the 47-yard line.
We still have a game with just one sack. Kerry Collins got sacked last series by Bill Romanowski. But the Broncos are getting closer, putting pressure. Collins hung in tough there that time and delivered a completion.
3rd and 2 with 2 minutes to go in the third.
Nice night for Kerry.
Collins hanging in. Nowhere to throw. Gets sacked by Ian Gold.
Collins was trying to work an out and up move, a double move on the outside. You saw the short set, the pump fake, but the Broncos in the perfect coverage on the outside here. Watch as they get the roll up here. O'Neal goes with Toomer, and above Toomer down the field is another Denver Bronco. That's why Collins had to pull it down and try to pick it up, but Gold was there.
Rodney Williams, the first-year guy out of Georgia Tech, averaging 53 yards a kick tonight. And that is a very effective kick. Instead of really banging it to the end zone, he makes O'Neal catch it at the 8, but then O'Neal turns it back upfield and gets to the 25. Well, give Williams credit. I mean, after that last kick, he could have just banged one all the way to the end zone, but instead, almost like, you know, a golfer picking the right club. He says, you know what, I'll use the A wedge instead of the pitching wedge here. Great kick.
We've seen his driver, haven't we?
Yes, we have. And speaking of golf, there it is. Perfect segue. The World Golf Championships coming your way Saturday. Tiger Woods will be in action. 1 o'clock Eastern time, which somehow became 4 o'clock Pacific time. But I guess that means it's not taped. I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, what's going on?
It's the thin air, Al.
It is. First down from the 26-yard line. Here is Davis for a hard 3 up to the 29 as we approach the final minute of the third quarter. Seesaw game. Denver has led 7-0, 14-7, and now 21-14.
Have we seen Orlando Scary at all in the backfield?
Not in the backfield, but remember he made that one kickoff return. For Greasy, meanwhile, take a look at the pass rating, 147.8.
And 0 interceptions. Remember, the guy only threw 4 last year as opposed to 19 touchdowns. Led the league in efficiency.
And the fourth quarter is his milieu.
158.3 would be the perfect figure, and Rod Smith makes the catch. And that will add to Greasy's number as the catch is made up at the 35, the coverage by Will Allen.
Well, I think his overall rating was around 102 last year, but his fourth quarter rating was 112, so he even ups the ante at crunch time.
So does this guy. Very imaginative playbook for Mike Shanahan and Gary Kubiak. But they've lost a huge weapon in Ed McCaffrey.
Yeah, and it looked like when he grabbed his hand, he's lost a huge friend, too. I mean, it's, you know, this coach-player relationship, and then there's a guy you like a lot.
3rd and 1. There is Kubiak. And Denver's going to take a timeout, which I thought was kind of unusual in the sense that the play clock and the clock to see the third period expire were almost running simultaneously. I'm not sure they couldn't have let the clock run down all the way to the end of the quarter. Instead, not only do they take what might be a dubious timeout as Dan circles the 0, that's because they made 2 challenges. Neither was effective and had to take the timeout here. I think the clock was close enough that Denver felt they couldn't risk, especially with a 3rd and short coming up, getting a timeout assessed.
I think what they were trying to do is figure out how to get the ball to Patrick Apes maybe on this 3rd down and short.
Well, you could probably watch 1,000 more Denver Bronco games and never see him burn 3 times outs in any weirder manner than they just did tonight.
Meanwhile, on what might be the final play of the quarter, this is a big play to try to keep the drive alive. 3rd and 1. Davis has it. Gets 1 and 4 more to the 40-yard line as the 3rd quarter expires. Good game to open up the 32nd season of Monday Night Football. After 3, Denver 21, the New York Giants 14. Monday Night Football returns after this from our ABC stations. First down at their own 40-yard line. Up 21 to 14 as Greasy retreats, throws for the tight end, hits Desmond Clark for a big gainer inside the 25 and forced out of the 22-yard line.
Great game planning by Kubiak and Shanahan, finding Desmond Clark, single covered by Jesse Armstead. This is not Jesse's strong point. He's a wonderful athlete, but this late in the game, Clark is fresher, and he gets free. Perfect pass.
Well, obviously with the McCaffrey injury, the tight ends are going to see a lot more balls coming their way, too.
And that's an interesting point in as much as Denver was so tight end oriented when Shannon Sharp was here, but now it's the opposite with Carswell and Clark. Greasy throws, and that is dropped incomplete at the 14-yard line by Carswell. The loss of Ed McCaffrey, when you take a look at it presented visually this way, 208 total receptions for the wideouts. 101 for Ed and 100 for Smith, and then only 7 other balls were caught by all the other wide receivers.
Well, plus McCaffrey's one of those Menchie guys where the numbers are almost the least of it. I mean, he's a Bronco.
There's Kennison, very much the man in the spotlight after tonight. 2nd down and 10 from the 22. And it's a gain to the 18-yard line as we check in with Eric Dickerson.
Well, one thing Jesse Armstead said that their defense wanted to do was get a lot of penetration in the backfield and disrupt things, the running game. But right now it looks like Brian Greasy is having all day to throw the football. They have not sacked him one time, and that is why he is having so much success throwing this football tonight.
Well, he's 18 out of 24. That's 75%. 260 yards, so he's on his way to a 300-yard night. 3 touchdowns.
When you see him calling the plays in the huddle, this kid is in such control, very confident, telling his guys exactly what they have to do.
He looks Pelsian to me.
3rd down and 7 from the 18. He throws, and it is incomplete. 2 Giants are there, and Kennison is there. He's the intended target. Sam Garnes back to cover.
Although you weren't prone to throwing into double coverage.
Oh, yes, I was. I loved it. You don't throw 242 in without throwing into double coverage, especially in the red zone, because he's given Kennison a chance to make a touchdown catch here. Peterson's got him outside to the inside. It's Garnes. Looks like Kennison was a little hesitant on that route, but there's no way that young, confident Brian Greasy should have thrown that one.
Now Jason Elam to attempt a 37-yard field goal. Diaz-Infante snapping it. Bruin puts it down, and Elam has just given Denver a 10-point cushion with 13:40 to play. In the 4th, in Denver, 24-14 Broncos.
Going to Keith Olbermann part first.
Michael Jordan, his possible return. Well, that will be detailed on SportsCenter tonight as Dixon takes Elam's kickoff, swings to the outside, being chased, and finally brought down at the 24-yard line. Jimmy Spencer staying right with him, shadowing him, tracking him, and making the hit.
That's a heck of a play by Jimmy Spencer, because Ron Dixon's got world-class speed, and Jimmy Spencer's getting over a sore right hamstring. Great play by Spencer.
The numbers for the 2 guys, big quarterback ratings for each of them, and of course Brian Greasy having a spectacular night. First down at the 24-yard line for the Giants, who trail by 10. It's Denver's biggest lead of the game, and Barber tries to get inside O'Neal. He picks up 2. We check in with Melissa.
Al, Tiki Barber's been unhappy with his footing tonight. He's been slipping a lot, so just a few minutes ago he came over to the bench, sat down, changed his shoes. He put on sturdier shoes, thicker spikes, and he wrapped tape around them. He hopes it improves his traction.
It must be the shoes, because he's been the only guy tonight I've seen with any consistency who hasn't had good footing. Maybe he needs a new shoe contract.
You know, sometimes Tiki and Rondé do that Patty Duke thing where they shift teams and don't tell the coaches.
Second and 9. Collins slides to a halt at Romanowski's feet at the 28-yard line.
Well, you know, Al, the blue book on the Gents is they're great front runners, but they're not necessarily the best come from behind team tonight. So their mettle will be tested in the initial foray of the season.
Yeah, and they're also playing without Ike Hilliard, who's a tremendous weapon, especially over the middle. Most of the Giants' passes have been to the outside tonight. John Payton, the young offensive coordinator.
And that picture is shaking because the building is shaking. Third down and 6, just like Mile High. Play clock, 6 down to 3, and then Collins catches his own pass. It was hit by Brown, and then Brown stops him.
That is planned. That is in the playbook.
And that's Ray Rhodes putting pressure, knowing that the crowd is going to be loud, pressing the line of scrimmage. Brown, number 26, comes right in the middle. It looked like Collins probably should let that one go down.
We have not mentioned Mr. Rhodes tonight, but the defense has been perfectly aligned in many situations, has it not?
It has been. By the way, that does count as a completion for Collins for -2. And now Rodney Williams, another booming kick fielded by Delta O'Neal at the 15. Good Giant coverage. And he's tackled at the 23-yard line after a 60-yard boot for the new Giant phenom. But Denver has it back, and they lead by 10.
Pros out there.
You can dig them both, you know.
I think the pros a lot.
From the 23, first down for Greasy, who fumbles the snap. And this is exactly what the Giants would need to recover, but they don't.
This seems to be the overriding theme in the NFL this season so far. Can you get the snap completed?
And you're talking about a Pro Bowl center in Tom Nalen and a Pro Bowl quarterback in Brian Greasy. We saw he had problems back in '99. Not so many problems last year, though.
Wow.
Yeah, it looked like he just dropped it. Those things happen.
And was Nalen alert enough to retain possession? Second down and 10 from the 23. Greasy throws, catches made by Smith on a slant up at the 33-yard line, and Hot Rod tonight with 9 grabs for 116 yards. He's also rushed twice for 24. And remember, he was shaken up early in the game, giving Shanahan and the fans pause.
And working against another rookie, Will Allen. Great move to the outside. Ball thrown on time by Greasy. But if the Giants can't get any pass rush out of that great defensive line, they're going to have troubles all year long, because this secondary is inexperienced with Sehorn out, and they're not quick enough, even with Sehorn and Thomas in there.
3rd and 1, and the Giants are confused on defense. Guys coming on and off the field. And timeout is taken by New York. A tick under 10 minutes left in regulation. 3rd and short comes up for Denver next. Broncos by 10. From the
Geography guy.
From the 32-yard line. Big play here for Greasy, who goes deep for Kinnison, who has to adjust, and he makes the catch. And there is the reason that the Rams thought highly enough of him to make him a #1 pick a few years back. First catch is a Bronco, and it is a beauty. Great adjustment along the sideline.
I hate that cliche, welcome to the NFL, but William Peterson will never forget his first night in the NFL as Eddie Kennison beats him. Ball underthrown, just up for grabs. Peterson never looks back. Kennison's got it. First down, Denver.
And Eddie is on board.
From the 32-yard line, cutting it back is Davis. Slips the tackle inside the 20, inside the 10, out of bounds at the 7-yard line.
Yeah, but you got to put him out of bounds because he's not looking to step out.
Patrick Hape through the block. Garnes makes the tackle. 26-yard gain.
And how about Terrell Davis, 11 yards away from 100 yards tonight? Best run of the night, and it's typical Terrell. Seeing it all the way back to the weak side, making somebody miss, and then punishing the tackler at the end of it, trying to get in the end zone.
Actually, it was Gaints who misses him. He slips out of his grasp, and Allen is the guy who gets him out at the 7. First down. Anderson. Touchdown.
Even without McCaffrey, Shanahan has a lot of tools here.
We talked about the resiliency since the McCaffrey injury, going on 17 unanswered points.
Check out the block by Dwayne Carswell as he takes Brandon Short, pulls him, grabs him, throws him to the ground. Another great stiff arm by a Bronco. Mike Anderson's in the end zone, and the Giants are on the ground, exhausted.
Kick by Elam is good. So Davis comes alive. 19 carries, 89 yards. He looks on as Anderson scores, up by 17. Down the field again. Long drive. It didn't take him very long, though. 77 yards. Big catch by Kennison. Big run by Davis. Payoff for Anderson.
That big catch by Kennison was on a 3rd down and 1.
Elam's kick. Touchback. So Mike Anderson scores the first rushing touchdown of the night. Everything else through the air. Collins has thrown 2 TD passes. Greasy has thrown 3. And the Broncos lead by 17. Commissioned an Italian sculptor to do this piece of art outside of the entrance to Invesco Field.
The Italian sculptor Sergio Benvenuti, who I saw fight Emil Griffith at the Old Gardens in the late 60s, I think.
Nino.
Oh.
From the 20-yard line, it's Collins. May have hit his arm as he threw. Barber makes the catch, and that's a gain of 5.
Tough order for Kerry Collins and the Giants to come back. The crowd is really going to be involved now. The Broncos will play very soft, let them complete these short passes over the middle, then come up with big hits.
And the Giants, they're trying to go without a huddle.
Right.
And they're in oxygen depth to begin with.
But the officials had trouble getting the ball down, finding the right spot. It's at the 26. Collins throws underneath, juggled, caught, and kept inbounds is Tiki Barber. Trying to get to the sideline to at least momentarily stop the clock and couldn't. Eric Davis makes the tackle.
It's another situation where the replacement referees aren't used to the pace of the game in a hurry-up offense.
3rd down, short 1. Action up front. Looked like there was movement before the snap. In fact, there was. Flag. By the way, the league has already announced the replacement officials will work next weekend as well. This is offside and a 1st down now for the Giants. Offside Denver as Pat Bolin takes a look. Pat involved with the league, of course, in the negotiations. Nothing new on that front.
Offside. Nope. On the defense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
The league is paying the officials $2,000 a game. They guaranteed them 4 games. Counting preseason, this is week 2. They're guaranteed next Sunday and Monday, and then we'll see about the rest. 1st and 10 from the 35. Collins from the gun. Goes short, incomplete, and not only does Barber not make the catch, Romanowski gives him a little kiss.
What's ironic, in our meeting with Fossil, he told us that the key to the game tonight for him was he wanted an up-tempo offense. Get up to the line quickly, wanted quick 7, 8, 9-play drives. I'm sure there's a fine line of differentiation in his mind, though, between the up-tempo and the hurry-up, which he's forced into now.
Different situation here. Sean Payton calling the play into the helmet of Kerry Collins. 2nd and 10. Collins into traffic. There were 4 Broncos surrounding the intended receiver. Davis.
And Collins did Tabini Davis a big favor by throwing that one low. If he throws that to Davis, he's going to get hit by all 4 of those Broncos you talked about, Al.
Tabini Davis, first time they looked for him tonight, they send him out into a pattern, and 4 guys surround him.
That's that prevent defense that everybody hates, but in this circumstance, it works.
3rd down and 10 from the 35. Collins sacked, racked up by Trevor Price.
And that's a great example of a worn-out Giant football team. 5 blockers against 3 rushers, and Trevor Price still gets in and takes down Collins.
So Jim Fossil shaking his head as he looks up at the clock and the scoreboard and the replay there. With 7:20 left in regulation, 3rd sack of Collins. And here's Rodney Williams. Line of scrimmage is the 28. Another bomb. And a beauty that bounces at the 19, stays in bounds, and what a night this kid is having. Down at the 5-yard line.
I got news for you, Rodney. It's not always going to be this easy.
Oh,
especially
man.
when you get to the winds of the Meadowlands.
That's right. Rodney thinking, don't get me back to sea level, baby. Not yet.
And Fossil thinking, I hope Rodney doesn't have to punt this much every week.
Yeah. 68 yards for Rodney Williams. Williams tonight averaging 55 yards a kick on 8 kicks, including the 90-yarder.
Now here's a case where the Giants defense has got to come up and get that turnover they're so good at getting. They've got to get the ball back if they're going to have any chance, and the defense may have to put points on the board in this possession.
Greasy's passer ratings at 147.9. What's perfect now?
158.3.
Does that happen often? Ever happened?
Often?
Ever happened for Denver?
In the street, in a street game. Here is Davis. In fact, it doesn't quite happen in terms of perfection, but through the years, the quarterbacks have had a number of games with ratings in the 150 range. In fact, John Elway's had a couple in his illustrious career.
And don't look this way.
Dan-O.
No. I think, 85, that was my comfort level. The temperature in San Diego, 85, quarterback rating 85, it's symbiotic.
You had your 100-yard days and beyond. 2nd down and 7 from the 8-yard line. Davis chews up the clock, holds on, and gets banged down at the 18, but not before he moves the chains to eat up more of the clock. And that's 102 yards for Terrell Davis tonight.
And that'll be it for Terrell. Good move by Shanahan, putting Mike Anderson in now and getting Terrell out. He has proven to everybody that he is back. 2 critical carries in a row there to get the Broncos out from behind their 5-yard line.
Now it's time for McCaffrey to go to limbo now, and Terrell's welcome back from the outside world.
Big hand for Terrell Davis. Anderson in the game. From the 18-yard line. Greasy rolls the other way and then throws complete, and it's Wayne Carswell, the tight end, up to the 42-yard line.
The Giants are just out of wind.
Yep.
You could run anything right now. They're just gassed.
The way you tell is how many guys you see down there in white jerseys with their hands on their hips. All kinds of Giants are sucking air down there right now, and the air they're getting in is awful thin.
1st and 10 up at the 42-yard line. So the Broncos with 17 unanswered points. On their way to going 1-0 and on their way to Indianapolis to meet the Colts on Sunday. Giants go home, face the Packers at the Meadowlands on Sunday. Anderson, and that's a good tackle, knifing through, was Mike Farrow. Well,
Denver.
Davis, of course, was the big story in preseason. Would he or wouldn't he start? And here's what he had to say about it.
My whole mentality, the fact is, is based upon me just thinking I'm the starter, you know. And Mike has the right to think that he's the starter, and Atlantis has the right to think that he's the starter. Taking nothing away from those two guys, but I can only control what I can control, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only way I can think. I can't think anything less of me being a starter.
Over the last 2 seasons, Davis has had one 100-yard game. That was last year against the Jets. And here is Anderson taken down just about at the line of scrimmage.
And like all great running backs, Al, he got better as the game went on. Remember we talked about it, he only had 27 yards at halftime.
Second charge.
Giants take a timeout here because 3rd and long is upcoming. He got off to, I think at one point we put up the graphic, he had 12 carries for 27 yards. And now he has a 100-yard night. And again, it's one of those very, you know, bittersweet nights. The Broncos are going to win. They're going to christen their new stadium. They're going to be 1-0. They're going to go to Indianapolis. But you get back, and then you go to practice next week without number 87. They'll be scouring the wires, as well as maybe thinking about the trade because they have such tremendous depth.
This guy wants to win right now, this year. And he's got 3 running backs and 1 viable wideout. He's going to equal that up.
Encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
What kind of grades you giving the replacements tonight, Al?
I think they've done yeoman work, admirable work.
Bill Yeoman?
I'll give him a C+. I think they've missed a lot of calls. Interior line holding. The touchdown that Mike Anderson just scored, Michael Strahan was just roped and tied by Matt Lepsis. Got away with it.
Yeah, but for being thrown into the breach, C+ from a pro like you, it's above average, right?
All right, I'm going to say quasi-yeoman work now. Dan's right.
It's gone.
Here's Greasy. Throwing and trying to adjust on it was Kevin Casper, but the coverage was good. Back to cover was Will Allen. Total yards, the Broncos 476. It's the most the Giants have allowed in a game since 1988. And that's when Bill Parcells was the head coach of the Giants, and they were 2 years removed from 1 Super Bowl and 2 years in front of another.
I thought the interesting thing in talking to Shanahan yesterday, I asked him what his edge was. He says, we are confident we can put 30 on anybody. And we all kind of shook our heads. Even the Giants? He said, yep, even the Giants.
Here's Roon, and it's fair caught at the 9-yard line by Tiki Barber. Well, the big story with the Broncos throughout all of July and August and early September, the running back story. So, Eric, how do you assess it after tonight's game?
Well, Al, I'll tell you one thing. It will not work. One reason is you have 3 guys, all 3 guys have started before. As long as Terrell Davis is here and he's healthy, he'll always be the starter. Now, Mike Anderson, who's 28 years old, he's not a young guy. His window of opportunity is very small. You have Atlantis Garrett, who is the youngest guy. Now, right now, everybody's saying the right thing. But believe me, as a running back, you want to play, it just does not work.
All right.
BD
fanning the flames.
Oh, buck up in there hard.
That's great analysis, Dendu. From the 10-yard line, there's Collins throwing, and it's caught up at the 30-yard line by Davis. BD Davis.
You're used to seeing hard hits from the safety position from number 27 in a Denver uniform. Saw that Atwater Okoye hit on the Jumbotron before the kick.
Yeah, showed you that hit at halftime. In fact, in that piece on Mile High Memories from the 30 now. There's a flag. The Broncos had jumped off. Pass is incomplete, but jumping offside with Davis covering. Davis, in fact. They're recovering Tabiti, but the Broncos had jumped. 3:19 to go. The Broncos up by 17.
Encroachment. Defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Kavika Pittman.
All these defensive linemen are thinking one thing right now. Performance clauses, sacks, throwing every down. I think I get a little jump here.
Broncos, as we say, go to Indianapolis, then they go to Arizona, then their next home game is against Baltimore. So their first 2 home games against the 2 Super Bowl teams, and we've got jumping again. Collins swings this one. halfway to the stands, and that time it's Trevor Price.
Well, Broncos Indy next week. You're going to see 2 of the 3 highest octane offenses in this league, along with the St. Louis Rams.
476 yards total offense. That's better than what they averaged last year.
Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Facing both Super Bowl teams in September of the following season, as you can see, since the Super Bowl began over the course of NFL history, no team has beaten both of the Super Bowl teams in the month of September. Denver will have that opportunity if they can knock off Baltimore here in 3 weeks. Davis again is the intended receiver.
Well, you can see, though, why the chasm between Denver's home and away records. You better have a lead against them in this stadium coming into the 4th period, because you watch the Giants and the air is out of the balloon. They're literally just deflated.
And you look back at that first half, Denver controlled the ball for 20 minutes and 53 seconds, and the Giants, they couldn't get anything going. They only were down by 7 points, but they were exhausted on defense, and that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah, you work the body in the early rounds. They drop the guard.
And then Nino Benvenuti comes in. 2nd down and 10. And that is dropped. Jaravicius had it, couldn't hold on.
I remember Nino being a bleeder, wasn't he, Al?
He was.
Not quite Wepner-esque, but a bit of a...
Our boxing analyst, Alex Wallow. I'll ask him tomorrow. I'll have the answer for you next week.
Alex Wallow, the wildest job description in the world. Boxing analyst, head of network. I love that.
Rather eclectic.
That's like comedian sportscaster, something weird like that.
Yeah. Good point.
Really? Yeah, where'd we get him?
3rd and 10.
I snuck in. I have no laminate.
Wallow hire you?
3rd and 10 from the 40. Jumping for it and coming down with it is Ron Dixon. That's a nice catch at the 41-yard line. And Collins is going to take a timeout here. And the Giants now have nary a clock stoppage at their disposal. So next week, guys, we go to Baltimore. And, of course, it's been a long time.
He was a super guy. He was John Elway before Elway. Number 7, big right arm. Great one.
Collins from the 41-yard line.
Big hit.
Jaravicius makes the catch. And Jaravicius takes a vicious hit from Eric Brown. But he holds on. 1st down at the 15. Collins coming up to say he's going to down it. But he's got to do it in a hurry. And again, this is where the officials are a little laggardly.
Yeah.
You can see here in getting the ball to the line of scrimmage. I mean, that took 16 seconds.
They're winded, too.
Yeah.
You know, that's part of it. I mean, they've been working double shifts. A lot of them in college games on Saturday. Then they come up here to this thin air. They're beat, too.
Sure.
Hey, I'll tell you, guys, you got Kanoy. What's the call, man?
No call.
You got Kanoy, Denard, Billy Jenkins, Eric Brown. You got a lot of guys in that secondary who'll come up and rock your world.
2nd and 10 from the 15. Collins. Jaravicius on a slant. Tries to get in. He has a 1st and goal at the 1.5. So the Giants not dead. Trying to get in. It would behoove them to get in before the 2-minute warning. 1st and goal. And Collins will try to take it in himself.
Boy, and he got a shot.
Yep.
Holy cow.
And he didn't get in. And we come to the 2-minute warning. That could have, in effect, been an extra timeout. But right now, they'll just have to settle for the 2-minute warning, regroup, and try to get it into the end zone, and then onside kick it. Ooh. What a pop from John Mobley. Football. Dan and I log in, then do. Dan and I log in to try to figure out what we said.
I always thought it was the annoying Dennis Miller, not the annotated. I couldn't read. I didn't have my glasses on. Sorry, Dennis.
Where's the love? Where's the love? Bit massive body shots tonight.
Huh? I thought
I
you
do
wanted
nothing but sing. What's that word? A concom or whatever the heck you call it? A conium? I give nothing but a conium.
I thought you wanted to be earholed every now and then. That's
Yeah, you're right, earhole.
Broadcasting earhole.
Does HBO have an annotated Dennis Miller for you?
HBO's not done that because I, quite frankly, on cable, I'm able to fully explain myself.
Yes, you are. Second and goal for the Giants.
I do my own Cliff Notes. HBO up for the most Emmys. Sorry, gotta say it.
All right, that's 3 pops.
What, Freddie's mad at me? It's the first time I've said anything. Settle. All right, gents, get it in here. Another famous finish like last year.
Second down and goal inside the 1. Ron Dane is the running back. Collins is going to throw it, and then it's a low throw, and it's Camella, and the pass is incomplete. Camella wasn't even across the goal line.
Great coverage by Romanowski. He knew that the Giants would rather throw this ball than risk running it and getting stuffed. I think Collins saw that coverage and threw it low purposely.
Well, Shanahan told us, obviously, Ian Gold, the young up-and-comer, but Romanowski, as smart as they come, as per Shanahan.
Third and goal. Fake to Dane. Collins. Touchdown. Caught by Marcellus Rivers. He makes his first catch of the night, a rookie at Oklahoma State. Free agent. First time they've thrown to him. His first NFL catch. And it makes it 31-20 going on 21.
Not bad for your first catch in the NFL to make it go for a touchdown. That's a heck of a drive by Kerry Collins, leading his team down the field against that prevent defense. A lot of time went off the clock, but they did get 6.
Now it's Morton Anderson. It's a juggled hold. The punter, Rodney Williams, serving as the holder, couldn't handle the snap. Jason White snapping it. And, well, it could be big in the sense that if you could recover an onside kick, you could still kick a field goal. You'd have to score a touchdown and then get the 2-point conversion. And that's the difference between being down 10 and down 11.
Snap is fine. A little bit out in front of him, but he just couldn't get it down. Rodney had problems last week when Morton Anderson came in. He lined up on the wrong side as if Morton were a right-footed kicker. They got him squared away. Leon Lett with a block of the armpit on that liner.
Again, one final reminder, a week from tomorrow, Spin City. Michael J. Fox comes back. He returns to the 1-hour season premiere of Gary David Goldberg's great hit, Spin City. Anderson has been kicking for 19 years, and that's only his 9th miss of an extra point attempt. Again, we'll see if it's consequential. It is a completely moot point unless, for starters, they recover the onside kick. That's the essential element right here. Otherwise, without a timeout, the Broncos could just about run the clock all the way down. And, of course, they line it up for that little kangaroo shot. The ball has to go to the 40-yard line before a Giant can touch it unless it's touched by a Bronco. And that's not a very good onside try. And Rod Smith has an easy time, but there's a flag down. However, the flag is at the 30, and that would indicate that the Giants would be offside, which will, of course, be declined.
You got to wonder how many times the Giants have practiced that with Morton Anderson.
Offside on the kicking team. The penalty is declined. First down, Denver.
Brian Griese has a fantastic opening night tonight against the Giants. 21 out of 29. First quarter, he got things going with this touchdown pass to Patrick Haight. His first of 3. Then he hits Easy Ed McCaffrey in the second quarter. Beautiful pass to Rod Smith there. And then this key 3rd down and 1 conversion to Eddie Kennison down the sideline. What a night for Brian Griese.
And now the Broncos can just kneel it down and take it back to the locker room. There it is, 144.3. Great night for Griese. Last year on the Monday night opener, he threw for 307 yards, but in a losing cause at St. Louis. There it is, Elway, 2.3 points below perfection in a game in 95 against Arizona. John at 147.5 in a game in 93, and there's Griese tonight. That's where he'll rank on that illustrious chart.
Wow, Greasy, great night, and Rod Smith, too. Downfield blocking, hands team on the onside kick, or end arounds, passes down the field. He showed all the tools tonight.
Smith with 115 yards on 9 receptions, and of course TD with 101 yards officially. They went back and recounted, and it was one less than originally thought. And a look at Terrell Davis's night, which started out slowly but finished with a big bang.
It really did. He bounces to the outside. He's got that nice long stride, but the vision that all great running backs have, and be able to lower his shoulder, protect that right knee, and deliver a blow on that last one. 4.8. That's almost 5 yards to carry.
3rd and 12, and that should do it. Fred Godelli, our producer. Drew Esikoff, our director. The entire gang. Steve Hurt, our director of information. Malibu Kelly Hayes will retreat to Aspen. The big George Hill retreating to Port Angeles, and the Giants retreating to a red-eye back to New York as they start the season 0-1, and the Broncos head to Indianapolis to take on the Colts, coming off their impressive win against the Jets. The play of the game from Denver on opening night coming back when we wrap it up from Invesco Field.